Hello guys, welcome to the next video tutorial on C++ programming for beginners. And in this video we will see what are vectors in C++ and how we can use vectors in C++. So what is a vector? A vector is a sequential container same as an array. So array can contain more than one element of same data type at the same time. Similarly, you can use vector to contain collection of data which is of same data type. But there is a difference between the simple array and the vector. And the difference is whenever you declare a simple array like this, you need to define the size of the array or initialize with some size. And it's really hard to change the size of the array or simple array dynamically. But vectors, whenever you use vectors, you can change the size of these vector dynamically. Okay, so that's the main difference between simple array and vectors. But in addition, vectors comes with their own functionality or functions which can be used in much broader way than a simple array. So let's see how we can declare a vector. So to declare a vector, you need to include a vector library. So include vector, and then to declare a vector you just need to call std vector, and then in these angular bracket you need to give the data type. So if I want to have the collection of integer value, I will give the data type int or std string. I need to give the string library, add the same string library here, but you understood the concept, right? Or float values or something like this. So for example, I want to have a vector of integer values. Then comes the name vec, and just you can end it with semicolon. Otherwise you can initialize it with some value. So if you initialize this vector by 10, it means that it has the initial size of 10, so you can store 10 values. Or you can initialize vector with no value, and we can add these values dynamically. So to add values to a vector, you just need to have the name of the vector dot push back, and this is the method which we use to add the element to the vector from the back, so from the end of the vector, right? So now what we are going to do is we are going to add some element to it. For example, we want to add a value of 10 here. So the first value of this vector is 10, and we can add in a similar way different values, for example 20, 30 and 40. So similar to arrays, the index of the vector start from 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now in order to get the size of the vector, so I told you their size can be changed dynamically. So now the vector size becomes 4, right? So let's print the size of the vector now, int, and then we can write vector size is equal to, and then we can use this vector name dot, there is a function called size which we can use to print the size of the vector. So now whenever you run the program, you see the vector size is equal to 4. And let's see, we will place this vector size here, and let's see whenever we add two values what is the size of the vector, and then whenever you have four values. So the vector size, whenever we add two values, the vector size is 2, and after adding two other values, the vector size is 4. So its size is changing dynamically, right? Now to iterate or to access the values in the vector, you can use simple for loop. For example, for int I is equal to 0, I should be less than the size of the vector, which is this one, right? So size of the vector, we can get it from here, and I plus plus, right? And you can iterate over this vector like this. So we will just write vector, and then the index, I told you index start from 0, and then in here we will give some space, and then we can access the value using these square brackets and then the index, okay, similar to arrays. And here I forgot these, and run the program, and it prints the index. So index 0 value is 10, index 1 value is 20, index 2 value is 30, index 3 value is 40, right? The same result you can get using the function called vector. So the name of the vector dot at, and this is also this takes the index of the element, and then using this also you get the same result. So run the program and you get the same result. Now to erase any value from a vector, you can use a function, or you can use the function called erase. So my vect dot erase, and this erase, you can see when you hover over this, it takes the position of the element you want to delete. Now there is a trick to erase the element. So there is something called iterators, which I will teach you in some other video. But whenever you do something like vec dot begin, it means that you want to give the iterator from the starting. So this is the indicating the start position of the vector. So for example, I want to delete this 10, which is at index 0, which is the first value of the vector. This will indicate the first value of the vector, right? So let's try to erase the first value, and then we will iterate over the vector once again, right? So now let me give some space also, so that we know that this is okay. So we have given some space here, and now we will run the program. And now you can see the initial size of vector was 4, and the values were 10, 20, 30, 40. But after erasing the first value using my vector dot erase, and in argument my vec dot begin, it has deleted or erased the first value, which was 10, from the vector. In a similar way, you can use my vec dot end to delete the last value. For example, we want to delete this 40, which was the last value we have inserted. Then run the program, and now I think it has deleted, it will delete the last value. But there is some problem here, and the problem is you can't use AND directly, but what you need to do is you just need to write myVec dot begin and then give the or add the index which you want to delete. So for example, I write begin dot to, and now when I run the program, you see it has deleted the second index value, right? So the value at second index is 0 1 2, so the value at index 2 is 30. So if you want to delete the value at index 2, then you just need to write begin plus 2. Similarly, whenever we write begin plus 3, so the value at the starting plus the value you want to delete, so index of the value you want to delete. So if you want to delete the value at index 3, then you just write begin plus 3. Okay, run the program and it deletes the last value like this. Okay, now for example, you want to delete the value on the basis of the value. For example, you want to delete the value 30 from the vector. How you can do it? What you can do is we will add another library to remove which includes this include algorithm, which has the method called std remove, and then we are going to copy this erase function once again, and in here in the erase we will write some arguments. So this argument will be std remove, and so this is a function which we can use to remove some value from a vector, right? And in here it takes 3 arguments: the first value, the last value, and the value itself, right? So inside this std remove, you just give myVec dot begin comma, and then just copy the vector name dot end and the value you want to delete, right? So we want to delete the value 30, so next argument will be 30, because we want to delete based on the value of the vector, right? And then just after the ending of the remove, you just need to write comma, and then once again myVec dot end, and I'm going to comment this and run the program, and this has removed the value 30 from our vector, right? So we have no value 30. Okay, so we have seen how to erase value, how to erase value based on the value. So how to erase on the basis of index, how to erase on the basis of value, like this. Now if you want to erase all the values from the vector, or if you want to clear the vector, so you want to delete all the values from the vector, what you can do is I'm going to comment this out, and what I'm going to do is to remove all the values from the vector. I can just use the vector name dot clear. Okay, and what this basically do is it will clear all the values from the vector, and that means there will be no values whenever you call this method on the vector will be empty. Okay, so run the program, and for the first time it has the 4 value, but after deleting or clearing this vector we have nothing inside our vector, so it hasn't printed anything. So for example, we call this size of the vector after clearing this data, after this myvec.clear, it will show that the vector size is equal to 0 now, right? So this you can call whenever you want to delete everything from the vector. Now there is a function to check if your vector is totally empty or not. And this method is called vec.empty, and it returns the boolean value. So you can just write myvec dot empty, myvec.empty, and this returns a boolean value, true or false. So to check whether your vector is empty or not, we can just write is vector empty. We are checking if the vector is empty, and run the program, and it returns 0, right? So whenever your it returns 0, it means your vector is not empty, right? Now whenever we uncomment this clear function on the vector, now see the result. Is vector empty? It returns 1. 1 means yes and 0 means no, right? 1 means true and 0 means false. So now after clearing all the values from the vector becomes empty, so it will give 1. And whenever we comment this, so we are not clearing the values, all the values, and run the program, it says is vector empty? It returns 0. So it says no, vector is not empty, it has some value, because we haven't cleared all the values from the vectors. So there are many functions in this vector class which you can use. So you can just write your vector name and dot, and you can see there are so many methods to erase and empty data. You can see add, back, pop back. So there are so many functions which you can use from this vector class. So just choose a function and try to use it in your in your program, and you will be good to go, because practice is the thing which will make you perfect. So I hope you have enjoyed the video. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, and bye for now.